shocker that the people who see everything through the lens of race and sex see their election loss as a result of racism and sexism.
I believe that racism and misogyny, they're just alive and well.
But that's not, it doesn't say I'm white, I voted for Donald Trump because of racism. That's not what stat. What stat are you talking about? Let me just dissect.
The View exploded into chaos as Bill Maher dropped a brutal truth bomb, sending shockwaves through the panel. Sunny Hostin, unshaken in her convictions, clashed fiercely with her co-hosts, forcing Whoopi Goldberg to step in before things spiraled out of control. With tensions at an all-time high, and the show scrambling to reshape the election loss narrative, desperation was in the air. But Maher's unfiltered takedown, calling out the left's obsession with identity politics and refusal to own up to their failures, was the spark that set the debate ablaze. The conversation turned explosive, pushing the tension to its absolute breaking point. Will anyone back down? Or is this just the beginning of an even bigger showdown? Buckle up and dive into this must-watch clash. Let's break it all down.
Okay, and finally, new rule. Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging, not keep digging. Talk about doubling down on what got you fucked in the first place. Even the one concession I've heard a few people on the losing side offer, that liberals should stop saying the Trump voters are stupid, comes with a kind of unspoken parentheses. We know they are stupid, just don't say it. Yeah, I got bad news for you. They don't have a monopoly on stupid. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class? I mean, again, I got my popcorn. I don't know why people did what they did. I see all these reasons, and so, okay, time will tell. But what do y'all think?
Let's be real. Bill Maher was spot on. No debate needed. When will they finally get it? They blame election losses on identity politics, yet when Democrats embrace it, they turn around and claim it's actually the Republicans who are weaponizing it. The contradictions are mind-blowing. Seriously, make it make sense. And let's be honest, even if I gave Whoopi the benefit of the doubt about Kamala Harris having a plan, the real issue is that she never followed through as vice president. The same goes for Joe Biden. So many promises, yet so little action. Why should anyone take another gamble on leaders who've already had the power to fix things but didn't? That's the real question.
I know that as a country, it's very difficult for people to believe that racism and misogyny, they're just alive and well. I think that we don't want to think that about ourselves, our neighbors, our friends, but it's my lived experience tells me that it does still exist, even if your lived experience doesn't tell you that it exists. And, the facts support that. I think we have a graph. If you look at there's a clear racial divide in who voted for Trump as opposed to who voted for Kamala Harris. It's very clear. It's not only clear by race, but it's also clear by education. And so the notion somehow that is not true. This is by education. Those who attended college voted for her at a higher degree than those that didn't.
But I think
I've said that. Let me just finish. And so I've said that before, and there was so much backlash because I think it's an uncomfortable, inconvenient truth.
Let's set the record straight. It's not an inconvenient truth. It's just a weak argument that crumbles under scrutiny. The reality, dividing voters by race or education, doesn't automatically explain election outcomes. Look at the numbers. Joe Biden's 2020 performance was significantly stronger than Kamala Harris's. That alone proves this isn't just about identity. It's about leadership, credibility, and results. At the end of the day, this election wasn't won or lost on label. Voters weren't swayed by buzzwords. They were demanding real solutions in a time of crisis. Any narrative that ignores that, it's only a matter of time before it completely falls apart.
They felt like, I think the biggest common denominator in this election is people want a good life and ability to provide for their family.
Well,
And whether we agree or not with Donald Trump's plans, they thought that he was reflective.
One of the poorest demographics in this country, but they voted for Kamala Harris.
But there was a split, and more of them voted for Donald Trump than had historically. I think that there's such a desire. If you really think the vast majority of this country voted because of racism and misogyny, you're missing it. Most of my family, a lot of my family doesn't have college degrees.
But the stats are the stats.
But that's not, it doesn't say I voted for Donald Trump because of racism. That's not what What stat are you talking about?
Let me just dissect.
Yes, you can. There's a lot
Hold on. Calm down. Everybody just take a breath. Take a breath.
They can keep rehashing the election results all they want, but it's just an endless loop of the same tired arguments. Sunny Hostin is dug in, convinced that sexism and misogyny are the sole culprits. She's not here for a real discussion, just to double down on her perspective. No amount of logic or reasoning is going to shift her stance. Now, for those actually willing to look at the facts with some common sense, the economy and immigration were the EALAD defining issues. Period. The Democrats didn't lose because of some grand societal bias. They lost because they completely misread the priorities of their own voters. They ignored the warning signs, dismissed real concerns, and in the end, they paid the price. Elections aren't won on narratives, they're won on action. And that's exactly where they fell short.
Says that folks see everything through the lens of racism and sexism. Not everything. But if you're not seeing racism and sexism in America, then you need to clean your lenses.
But
because, this is something that I also find interesting, that when Democrats and liberals talk about race or sexism, it's immediately labeled as identity politics, which has a negative connotation. It's a term that Republicans have coined, and it's been very effective. But when Donald Trump goes to Miami and talks to Cubans, that's not identity politics. When Donald Trump goes to Dearborn, Michigan and promises Arabs something, that's not identity politics. When he goes to Jews and promises them the opposite.
When Republicans engage with diverse communities, it feels real, driven by direct outreach rather than a performative woke agenda. It's just common sense. Meet people where they are, listen to their concerns, and build genuine connections. Trump understood this, making him appear as a leader for everyone. On the flip side, Kamala Harris's struggles as a candidate, her lack of clarity, contradictions and ties to an underperforming administration made her an easy target for criticism. Instead of blaming external factors, it's time for the Democratic Party to take a hard look inward. Progressive ideals have pushed the party so far left that even moderate Democrats are left wondering what happened. This disconnect is alienating voters and burying the real issues people actually care about. Until the party acknowledges this, the backlash and electoral struggles will only continue. And let's talk about the response to Bill Maher's comments, especially from The View. The outright refusal to accept constructive criticism only deepens the divide, making real change seem further out of reach. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching.